do this. Okay. Right. So please be vocal. Don't be shy. Please use the chat area and the Q&A. I think I've said it enough times. And stay alert. For those of you in the UK, you know Boris has told us we must stay alert. Yay for recording. Exactly. Just remember the end to start now. So as Boris says, stay alert. I'm going to be going through a lot of information, and so will Shaka. And just for a little bit brief background on myself and Shaka, aside from being professionals and entrepreneurs, etc., we're also academics. And so we actually teach this to master's students and MBA students. So if the level is way above, do not worry. I press the record button. Just follow through. Don't expect too much of yourself. Absorb what you can absorb. Take notes when you can take notes, etc. And remember, like, we'll all still be here tomorrow. So you can always follow up with that spark of thought tomorrow, okay? Stay alert for now though, stay engaged so you try not to miss anything. Right, organizers. So first off, we have my company, myself and my company, Apples and Pears Holdings Limited. So I basically run this company, and in this company, we have different toolboxes, and we support entrepreneurs through the 5 stages of growth. I try and niche down the kind of communities we develop, because obviously, for example, today we're all talking about digital things to do with the websites. It's not going to make any sense. I invite you guys to an academic thing, right? So for that reason, in the company, we have an enterprise toolbox, an entrepreneur toolbox, a web creators toolbox, and an upcoming academic toolbox for teachers, trainers, coaches, and homeschooling parents, as well as those who want to take education and turn it into a business. So that's what I do. This is the 5 stages of growth, if you don't know what that is, if you're not aware. But basically, every startup from beginning to the point where we're, sustainable, we go through these stages. So first, we have a crisis of leadership, right? Trying to figure out, what do I do? How do I guide? What do I think? What do I tell my web designer? What do I tell my staff? Should I have staff? Are my staff being good staff? And all of those top questions, right? Crisis of leadership. And the best way to get round through it is through growth through creativity. So all the top lines are the line represent crises at each stage. And then the bottom line represents how we grow through it. And these elements are how we support people to grow through it. So for example, in terms of your websites, you're currently at a crisis of leadership, which can be easily resolved by creativity, okay? I'll definitely send that over to you, Zora. Right, then after that, we move into the crisis of autonomy, okay? Trying to figure out what to do with all this freedom, all right? And how we figure that out. And my coaching clients that are in here will know it's all about direction, it's all about structure and getting things in place, beginning to build out those processes, those small habits, and really getting to understand yourself and what it is exactly that you want and which direction you want to go into. Then we've got crisis of control, at which point you're probably usually afraid of or not doing very well at the delegation task. Either you don't delegate, you don't know how to delegate, or you need a middle person between yourself and the people that you delegate to. Then we move into the crisis of red tape, right? Where we've been burned so much that we start to put all these barriers in place and all these security things in place for control. Remember, that was the last step. And obviously we have to get past that. And the only way to get through that is through coordination. And from then on, it's a wide range of issues that come up. But the main way to grow through that is always collaboration, networking, etc. So that's what I do in my company. And obviously, the British Library. So it's a comprehensive collection of databases, publications, plus a program of practical workshops. Obviously, this is one. One-to-one advice sessions and inspiring talks. And so I'm just one of the many people that offers talks at the British Library. And then we have Shaka. Shaka is absolute goals for me. I met Shaka years ago, and I was so happy that I was working on a web team with her for a university. The way Shaka communicates, the way she does what she does, I just absolutely love it. And because this was all about communication, when I was speaking to her, I kind of roped her in, but I just thought it would be really useful for all of you, and I know you'll absolutely value it. So Shaka has worked with major players such as ASOS, John Lewis, Debenhams, and she's also in a unique position to provide really invaluable tips on communicating your business model onto a professional and profitable website alongside. Right, so TJ, you've raised your hand. You can just drop what you want to say into the chat. It's easier for me that way because I'll have to move things around to see and do anything like that. But anything you want to say, you can say into the chat. We will have a Q&A later. And by that point, depending on timing, we'll possibly just switch on the mics. But for now, please use the chat feature. Following this, if you decide you want a hand with website audits or power hours, etc., we are offering only for event attendees, £99 for a website audit and a power hour together. So we'll go through your website, do all of that stuff, and then talk to you about how you can make it better. But we'll put that to the side for now. We can talk about it later. Let's get started. Everyone ready to get started? Can I see those ones and yeses? Yes. How many of us are there now? 53. Yes. Okay, great. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I get it. It's cool. Thank you. Oh, hey. Perfect. Right. So welcome an event opening. I'm gonna, do you know what? Do you mind if I switch off my camera whilst I'm doing this, just so I can have a look at more things, because it's all in my way? Is everyone okay with that? I'm switch off my camera temporarily. Perfect. So thank you so much. Right. So agenda. We've done the welcome and opening. First off, we're going to talk about website optimization and the main purpose of it. And Shaka, our amazing Shaka, is going to lead on that. Then we're going to move on to me. I'm going to talk to you about how to put what Shaka has discussed with you into action. And then we're going to go over what to do if you're going to be working with a specialist, and we'll have some tips sprinkled in there. And then we're going to do a recap of the day and do a Q&A. Now, like I said, it's going to overwhelm you a little bit. It's going to feel very fast flowing, but that is because if it's new to you, the idea of all of this will be too much, okay? But it's a masterclass, it's a workshop, and it's recorded. So like I said, just take it easy with us. Okay, Shaka, are you ready?
Is it over to me now? So you're going to flip my size for me, so I'll tell you next, yeah?
You are the host, so yes, I can.
Oh, can I flip them? I don't know.
Oh yeah, because they're on my screen. Don't worry, no, don't worry. I'll do that for you.
Okay, so hi guys. I'm very excited to be joining you guys this afternoon. This is also my first public speaking and virtual live event, so so I'm looking forward. You've got a good setup and a good lots of more information to come. So I'm going to kick off. The purpose of website optimization. So you may have heard the term optimization, you may not have. And optimization is about continuous improvement. So the idea here is that you're continuously improving your website and making it, improving the user experience and the user interface. So the reason why we have to keep optimizing our website, we look at things such as time on site, providing the user a better user experience, trying to get return sales, increase sales, return visitors, etc. We also want the site to be easy to use and well designed. So when they come onto the website, it's clear what you want them to do. So you're not making them think. And also it's appealing, and it's showing sort of your brand message on there. And it actually has an effect on every stage of the buyer journey. So we won't get into funnels yet. I know Tanisha loves funnels. That's for another day. But in terms of when you're building out your website as well, you're going to link that to your sort of conversion funnel, which is quite important, because essentially the bottom line is about getting those sales, leads, signups, and subscriptions. The 4 key components of a website design. So some of you are saying, oh, I've started, I'm doing a mood board, I'm trying to do wireframes, etc., etc. But when you're building your website, you need to consider these 4 components. So we're looking at the architecture, so that's like the wireframing. We're looking at the design. The content is very important, so that's linked to SEO. And then finally, optimization. So there's a lot more involved than just commissioning somebody to build your website, for example. Next, please. Tanisha, thank you. So with regards to website optimization, as I said, we've got the user experience, we've got the design, so that's also known as the user interface, or we know that as the UI. And then we're looking at actually the display. So how are you effectively communicating your brand message and the imagery you use and the content that you put on your website. And today we're going to focus on display. And the reason why it's important, when we're thinking about communicating our messages online, you're thinking that basically your website or your homepage is your storefront. So as soon as people, pass your storefront or browse your website, first impressions count. So you have to make it very appealing. Just like in offline, a storefront would be merchandise with the best products or the best call to actions or the fact that there's sale. You would have to think similarly with that with regards to your website. The second is information. So I see loads of websites where it's too much information. You want to put everything on there. And to you, it makes sense as a business owner. But as the customer, if you're looking at the website, you're probably not going to make much sense of any of the information because it's a lot. So you have to think about how you're going to tease the information to the potential user. you know, leading them from the home page to more of a landing page with more detail. Maybe there's a video, etc., etc. So that links to your content. And then navigation. Don't make them think. If they don't understand where to go, they're going to get lost and they're going to bounce off your website. So you have to have a clear navigation. It used to be like 2 steps to check out if you've got an e-commerce site. Even if we look at Amazon now, that's 1-click checkout. So if you're building out any e-commerce function, you need to think about how many steps it takes to get to checkout. And can my user actually get to where they want to be? And then essentially it's about your content. Now, content is linked to your SEO. So that's search engine optimization. So there's website optimization and there's search engine optimization, 2 different types. So you will have to think about, you know, the content that actually the types of content that you would like to use. It doesn't all have to be text. You can actually use a mix of rich media as well. Next, please. So a few examples, you know, simple design. As you can see, the sort of diagram at the back is quite a heavy design. It's quite cluttered compared to a more simplified design. I think less is more with this, because if you think about, people could also be accessing via their mobiles and they're not able to see all of your copy, content and text. Next, please. More examples. So navigation. So the navigation is key. If we don't know where to go, if we don't have signs. If you think about when you go into a shop, Superdrug. I hate going to Superdrugs because I can never find the thing when I go in, and it's always different from every time I go in there. The layout is different. So you have to think about a consistent and cohesive navigation that doesn't change too much as well. You know, stick to your main parts. But Tanisha will be looking at that, you know, identifying key areas that you should have in your website anyway later. Consistent information, keep it consistent. Let's feel like we're actually in the same brand. Sometimes we see we put all our effort into the brand logo, and then you've got random colors going on or random sort of fonts, and it doesn't look like the website is all part of one, you know. So if I was a user coming to your homepage, I'm seeing your logo, I'm seeing some colors, and then I go to another page that's completely different, I'm just going to be like, I'm not sure about this website, I'm going to bounce off. Because as consumers, we're also quite, you know, think about our safety as well. So we're also looking out to see if the website's dodgy or not. So I believe this adds to, reinforces the integrity of your website as well. Next, please. Oh, keys, usability. Make it easy for the user to actually do stuff, you know, putting in functionality in there, making your call to action buttons, so CTA buttons, visible, not that they have to search to find what they need to do. Usability is definitely a key aspect when developing your website. And again, consistent design. So some of you may have multiple stores. So you may have, you may be an e-commerce store, and then you sell to different countries. So what you may do, you may actually have a different homepage depending on the country that you're targeting. So now you're making it relevant to your personas. And you can actually do that within WordPress. It picks up from your IP. So you may have a different landing page and homepage depending on the region. Even if they're a new Visa returning customer, you may have a different sort of display page there, but we keep it consistent. And then obviously mobile first, mobile getting. I mean, we all sort of access everything first on our phones. And we see, I definitely know my behavior has changed, where I access majority of things on my phone first, and then maybe I might go to my laptop or something bigger to read it. So it's about having a mobile optimized website. And also that it needs to be indexed by Google for mobile. So you've got to think about your mobile SEO as well. Yeah, and that is a whole nother lesson there about SEO and mobile SEO, which we're not going to get into now. And then how do you optimize your website, your mobile site, with a mobile site first design? So you're creating a mobile first experience. And when you're thinking about mobile first experience, essentially it's about screen size. So, you know, we have responsive website, we can build responsive websites now. So essentially your screen size will start from your phone and then get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, depending on what device you have. And so you'd always go for a responsive website. You don't necessarily have to build a separate mobile site. That's a different area. And that's going to cause you more issues with updating your website and so on. So always go for a responsive site. And CTAs, yeah, clear call to action, so that people can, you know, your user can actually click on it. If you think about on your mobile as well, we have fat thumbs, so we have to make sure that we can actually click the button as well, making it big enough. I know some men have bigger hands, you know, so they're clicking all over the place. So we have to think about that as well. And the content is on mobile. If you think about on mobile, I do not want to read a 10,000 word essay on mobile. That's not going to work. So therefore I want short digestible content on there, snackable bits of content, which maybe I can then go on to read more later on a different device or so on. Thanks, please. And thinking about website copy. So copy text, it has to be quite compelling. So you can make it clear. So we offer air conditioning units to restaurants and hotels, enticing. So we're getting some marketing language in there, award-winning, but also don't claim that you're award-winning if you're not. You know, it has to have good trust signals there, and be authentic. Or unique. No other competitors offer our same 10-year warranty, you know, so it's kind of like, what are you going to do to capture your audience imagination for them to click to the next page, essentially. And then essentially your, website content. I'll tell you, I think this takes quite a long time. I think you can get the design of a website, you can kind of get the look, and I would say that the copy is what can take a long time. But you know, you have to make sure it's easy to read, easy to find, easy to understand. So not use an industry or in-house speak where your customer's not going to know what that thing is that you're saying. Make sure that you've got a clear CTA on each page, that you're leading them to do something. Even if it's not on each page, it's appended to the top where it's like subscribe now, or whatever, subscribe to our blog, etc. And make sure the pages work together. Yes. Website content. Again, CTA, so it's not just buy now. You can have 50% off, low rate, and you can make it relevant to your type of website. So you can even play with your CTAs to make them more enticing, even in your own tone of voice. If you have a developed tone of voice for your brand, you might want to have your CTAs that ties in with that. But the reason why you have a CTA is because it highlights, the offer. It shows proof that something's happened, so even reviews, etc. And it can also show a sense of urgency. Buy now before it's too late, for example. And always, always, always A/B test. So it's great that some of you guys are in your building phase or wireframe phase. And once you've kind of got a design, just say you've got a design that you liked the most. But you're not sure, you want to make a few tweaks. So what you can do is A/B test. So you may just test one element. So either you have the image at the top, or you may have the text at the bottom, and you can see which one works better, because I guess one of the main things with website design is that you don't really know how it's going to go until you've launched it, but you can do testing and optimize accordingly as you go along. That's why optimization is very important. And then how do you evaluate your website? So absolutely don't, you set up your website and now you've got to think about the metrics, and what goals are you trying to achieve? Is it sales? Is it visitors? Are you trying to get returning visitors? Are you trying to reduce your bounce rate? I mean, there's so many metrics in there, so what is it that you're going to use to help you understand whether your website is performing well or not? Yes, you have to do testing across different devices as well as browsers. And maybe, some websites don't support the older versions of iOS, for example, because it's just too much to do. So you have to make sure that your website is visible and accessible across all those different points. And you do user testing. So, when you've built your website and you have a task, what you can do is get users to test, okay, can they buy a particular product, or you set them a task to do. And your user testing is very important before you even launch the website. You shouldn't launch a website if you haven't even got someone to test it in the back end, because you don't want things to go wrong. It takes more work to do once it's launched and that sort of thing. And then have you managed to get all the information on there? And I would say the hardest part is actually knowing what information to put on there and the hierarchy of how it should go. But I believe we'll be looking at that later anyway, won't we?
Yeah, literally, we're about to Figure out how to put it all in action. Thank you very much, Shaka. A lot of questions were coming in. Thank you. We just thank Shaka. Should we thank Shaka? I don't know how we're going to do that. Give Shaka fives.
You're welcome.
Exactly. Very interesting. Right, a lot of questions were coming through. MBA Chick. Where are we? You had a question, I think, or you put your hand up. Just, you can feel free to just type your question straight in. We're going to take a few minutes to deal with those questions. So clear and easy to understand. Exactly. Good stuff. I told you it was worth it, right? It was worth dragging her to the computer. It's worth it. Right. I don't have to do mail integration on Wix. Okay, that sounds like something for a power hour. I would do that later. You didn't realize you did that. It's fine. High five anyway. What is a landing page? I thought this was a home page, but it sounds like you can have more than one landing page on your website. Yes, you can. Shaka, I'll let you do that.
Yeah, so essentially you would have your homepage, and then if you're doing any particular marketing or anything paid or a campaign or event, you would drive your customers to a specific landing page. The landing page is your sales collateral, your sales page. So the mock-up of that and the layout of that is going to be very much geared towards the sell, you know, buy, sign up, download, etc. Where your homepage is more of an introduction to your brand and who you are, I suppose. It's your shop window.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that. I mean, I also think it's good to have, yeah, like your shop window. It's like your homepage is like introduction to your brand, but also like the welcome to the house, kind of like just letting them know. Homepage is like a corridor. Do you know what I mean? From that page, people should probably be able to go in the kitchen, go in the bathroom, or at least know where those things are. And of course, in most houses, it's not always apparent. But some houses have a little sign on there, a little boy and a girl, man and woman, and things like that. And we want to be more like those ones. We want to be more navigating, as Shaka said, and making sure people clearly understand with the homepage. But again, I mean, the landing page is also good, but you just want it to show people all the things that you would from a homepage. You just only give them, I guess, that one product, right, Shaka? Yeah. What about it? How to do it? How to buy it? Exactly. So how do you do A/B testing on websites? Do you have two versions of a website and show one or the other to the visitors?
Okay, so the way this works, I think there's even a plugin, and I think you can also do this via Google. I can't remember what the platform is. So basically, it's kind of coded in. So you have your normal website, and you may have another version. So you might have changed the image of one of the pages. And so what happens is when visitors visit their site, 50% of the visitors will see one version. Yes, Crazy Egg does a A/B testing, and 50% will see the other version. So you don't have to build a whole nother website. You're just changing one element. And then when you get the results, it will field the most engaged page. And that's the one that you can run with from there. Hopefully I've managed to explain that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, the thing with the world of digital creation is that there is a tool, a plugin, an app, or something for everything. And with that in mind, it's hard to recommend. Do you know what I mean? Because you say one and it's like by the time someone watches the replay, are they even still in business sometimes, or things like that, or they've changed their name. But yeah, that was very well explained. Thank you. Okay, so I think that's it for those questions that were coming in straight away live. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump straight in. We are only here for 2 hours and I'd like to get through as much as possible so we can have more discussion. But also the part that I'm going to talk to you now is more hands-on, more practical. So I'm going to need you to look at the screen. There will be some sections where the images, like for example here, these images here. The point of having this wireframe here is not for you to read the text and see what the text says. The point of you having it here is for you to have an understanding of the arrows I've pointed. Okay, I'll explain that. But putting it all into action takes a lot of thought. The real key to being able to implement these next steps is in being able to make clear decisions. So if you're the kind of person that can't make decisions, in fact, web design and development is very good for spoiled brats. Very good, okay? Because, you know, if you think about it, next time you see a child, one, you know, that you think is so spoiled, you might, of course you still love them, but they're just so spoiled. Channel that energy, okay? Because you need to get very definitive about what it is that you want in your website, how you want it to work, where you want to go with it, what designs you want, what color you want, what size this button should be. And if you're overly polite, and it's in one of Shaka's tips later on here on the slides anyway, but if you're overly polite and you don't stand your ground, as Shaka mentioned, it's your money down the line. And so you will suffer from that. So it's very important that you're able to make clear decisions and you're able to communicate those decisions, okay? Now, not being closed-minded though, so we'll talk about that later, but you've got to be able to make clear decisions and be willing to lead the customer, okay? In many ways, web design is no different from standard entrepreneurship or customer service. If someone enters our home, someone enters our store, we want to guide them. We want them to feel comfortable. So you've got to be able to and be willing to lead the customer. So if you're an introvert, then again, you might want to gather some people around and do some group thinking around your website. That's like me. I don't really like sharing that much about myself. You see how quickly I sped over that? It was like a 2-minute, not even 1-minute segment. So I'm always having to be reminded, Tanisha, you didn't put an about you page, or you didn't do this, or you didn't do that. Okay. So that's what you want to be thinking about. Right. So scoping and planning, these came about from a lot of the things that, you know, I was discussing with Shaka, but just for you to think about for sign or apps, for apps or websites. Who's your audience? Who are they? Who are they for the website? Because you're going to have different audiences. You're going to have one audience in relation to, Zora, Shaka, can you answer Zora the questions in the chat for me? Sorry. It's like, I'm going to move them around because I'm so easily distracted. I can see Zora asking questions. Thank you. Right. Hold on, let me move my stuff back. Right. So who are the people that you're going to have in the audience for this website? For example, there are times when we sell products like tote bags, or we do certain types of coaching, executive coaching. I usually don't get my executive coaching clients from my website. I usually get them from knowing them or meeting them, or them like word of mouth. Okay. So who are the people that you know from your group of audience members that will be visiting the website? Why should they use the website? Like, why will it appeal? What's going to appeal to them on the website? And then therefore, what should the content of the website be, right? Which services will you provide on there? How will the content of the site be structured? That's wireframing, the information architecture. How should navigation around the site happen? Are you going to have a major main header that stays all the time? You're going to have subheaders all the way? Are you going to have a side banner? Or you're only going to have like 4 or 5 main headers, but when people reach an area like the shop, there's more navigation in the shop. How are you going to do that? What are the main marketing outcomes that you want the site to deliver on? Do you want registrations? Do you want leads? Do you want sales? And where and when, or when and where would the website be accessed? Are people going to access it at home, at work, on their mobile, as Shaka mentioned earlier? Okay. So in order to be able to answer this, we have to really get to know our customers. Sorry, my neighbors decided to start drilling something today, so I'm not sure if you heard that just now. We have to really get to know our customers. I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I don't know if you'll get it right, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I want you to list or just put down some of your customers' pains. If you think you kind of get what I mean, like what do you think are your customers' pains? Like, what hurts them? What are they struggling with? Look at this lady in the image. What are they really, really struggling with? What are they stressed about? I mean, like cash flow problems. Look at that. That's really stressful. You arrive at a website, exhausted, sleep deprived, lack of time, low interest rates from the bank. Low interest rates from the bank. What else? What are their pains? What are they suffering from? What's stressing them out? They're not good at target marketing. Oh, interesting. So maybe yours are entrepreneurs, Nufi. They're aging. They want to make a real difference, not just do a good job. Cancellation of orders, interesting. Lack of time. Yeah. Misunderstandings between people of different cultures and academic or professional settings. Really like that, Donna. Being great coaches, but poor business managers. So they don't really know how to do the business management. They feel stuck. Exactly. So you see all of those pains, family issues, all these pains we carry around with us on a day-to-day basis. We want better returns for the savings, looking after everybody else but themselves. These are perfect. And these are really good because within reason, most of them apply to most of our customer base, especially because we're in the middle of a global pandemic. I'm so surprised no one mentioned the global pandemic being a pain for your customers. Some really resilient customers. But there's so much going on, right? So you arrive at a website and someone's trying to sell you something, and you only got there because you put something in Google, and Google told you that they were going to have it, and now you've got there, you're exhausted, you're tired, you've got family issues, you feel stuck, okay? Right, let's get started. This is something called the value proposition canvas. This will help you to really begin to understand and break down, the pains that your customer's having, as well as the gains that your customer wants, okay? And the best way we can find that out is doing this image. This image is by Alex Osterwalder. He runs Strategizer. He's like one of my favorite people in business and training and coaching, obviously second to Shaka. But he's really high up there, clawing at the top spot. But yeah, so this value proposition canvas, in the round circle, we have our customer's profile, okay? What you wanna do is you wanna first of all start saying to yourself, what does my customer have to do every day? So tell me something, what does your customer have to do every day? So if they're a parent, maybe they've got to do homeschooling. If they're, if they're employed, they've got to go to work. If they're tired a lot, maybe they got to drink coffee. If they're on medication, maybe they've got to take medicine. If they're aging, maybe they've got to do some fitness stuff. What do they have to do? And this has got nothing to do with your business, by the way. What's one thing a day that they think about or they have to do? Pop one into the chat for me. One thing a day. If they're a student, what do they think about? If at MBHE, I want to know, what are your visitors thinking about? Looking after their family. Yeah, exactly. Good one. They've got to look after their family. Getting new leads. Exactly. Studying English for presentation. Good. Getting the coursework done. Self-care. Good. Working with others. Good, 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 good. So we want to figure out those jobs, right? Now, when they're trying to do those jobs, that's where the pains come in, right? So we've got prioritized tasks. You're trying to prioritize your tasks, but there's pain. What pain comes out of trying to prioritize a task, Laura? Okay. Jim, what pain comes along when they're trying to generate new leads? Tell me in the chat. Kavitha, what pain comes along when they're trying to get their coursework done? Stress and time. I like that, TJ. Stress and time. What pains come along with the activities that they need to do? Distractions. Distractions. Okay. They might find it hard to know what really matters most. Exactly. Right? So if you think about how much exhaustion, how much all of this is going on in the mindset of your customer, when we really plan our value proposition, that's how we should plan it. We should plan it thinking, for someone who's finding it hard to prioritize their tasks, what will be of value to them? What would be valuable to them? Maybe an app or whatever type of service that you're offering. But if your service you're offering is not the kind of thing that would actually be of value to them for their jobs and their pains, then we need to revisit what's happening in the blue box, okay? The blue box is all about the pain relievers that you can offer, right? So we know what people are suffering from. For example, I know that my target audience are usually, the main struggle they have is that they have a simple question, or in their mind, a simple question, they just don't have someone to ask, okay? And the question or answer situation could take like an hour. Okay, but because I know that about them, I know they've got those pains, and those pains are usually linked to quite technical aspects of their customer jobs, like building their first website. Okay, I create pain relievers for that. Now, those pain relievers are not my main products or services, and they don't need to be yours. But by having them, you create that trust where the customer knows, okay, this person's here for me. They understand me. They understand my pain, right? They understand what I need to get done. So an example of a pain reliever is that we offer what we call a power hour. It's 1 hour. 1 hour, you send your question ahead of time. We do some research. We find out information to help you answer the question. Then we talk to you for an hour, okay? Because that pain can be relieved. And that person would need that pain relieved maybe in order for them to level up and buy our products or services, okay? So then we can look at our products or services. What kind of products or services can we put in? Can we bring? And then what are the gain creators? So on the gain side, it's not the gains you can bring them, because they'll get that from your pain relievers and products and services. But what are the hidden gains? Okay. So for example, we've got jobs, self-care. Well, self-care, what is the real gain out of achieving self-care? Okay. Is it slowing down that age process? Is it spending more time with their family? Is it looking better when they turn up to work? What is it? What is their main gain? And again, that gain doesn't have to have anything to do with you. Looking after their family as a job, right? What is the real gain that comes out of that? Maybe it's that fulfillment, right? Feeling like you achieved the goal you put in your mind of what you should be as a person. And so we need to really make sure we understand these aspects of our customers so we can build that value proposition around them. So we're not making products and services that they didn't ask for. Now, this is very important because over 70% of products never leave the shelf. You know why? Because no one wanted them. No one asked you. Why'd you make it? Why'd you make it? I don't want it. What is this? No, stop it. Okay. Now that doesn't mean I won't want it, but it's not going to be the first thing I want. Maybe after you've relieved some of my pain, I'm going to feel good. I'll just buy something from you anyway, because I just like you. And that is how we are. We know that as customers. Sometimes we buy things from brands because we like them, because we want to support them. But we won't do that until we know that they actually can help us with the things that are most important to us. So another tool for that, again by Alex, is the business model canvas. Business model canvas. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Forgive me. It's supposed to be model canvas, right? Now, the business model canvas is, again, an amazing tool. Don't worry about not being able to read it. I'm going to explain it to you, and it's something you can Google, okay? So it deals with some building blocks. First, we have our key partners. You need to understand your business model and build that so you can communicate it onto your website. So if you remember, this is called how to communicate your business model onto your website. Making this bit probably one of the most important parts of the session, because this bit helps you pull in what Shaka already mentioned and what I'm going to mention in a moment. And it's the fact that you need to develop this business model. Better if it's a one-page business model. And that's why I like the business model canvas. So who are your key partners? Who are the people you have to work with? Who provides you with what you need? These are not people necessarily that you can live without. They're very important to your whole process. Who are they? What are your key activities? What do you do every day? Okay. One of the things that kills most businesses and most entrepreneurs is not knowing what to do today, not knowing what to do tomorrow. You woke up, you're still an entrepreneur. Should you build your website? Should you hire staff? Should you scroll the gram? Should you post while you're there? Right? What are your key activities? Define those. And there's going to be a good reason why you have to do this, because this is what you're going to tell your customer. Okay. What are the key resources that you use? Do you use a special sewing machine? Do you use a special software? Do you use Elementor and WordPress? Do you use Zoom? Like, what is it? What are the key resources? Is it staff? So there's a few resources we need to think about. Financial resources, digital resources, intellectual resources, human resources. Okay. What resources do you have? What do you use? What's going on there? Because you know, when the customer comes to the website, they want to know, what do you do every day? What do you use? And who do you work with? And already that's key partners, key activities, and key resources. Okay. Definitely the kind of things people should get to know on the homepage. Then in the middle, that orange box, we have value proposition. Again, if you've done the value proposition canvas, you've already developed some value propositions, or at least things that will create value for your customer. So you can just figure out how to rephrase them. Okay. So you need to tell your customer why they should come to you and not the 3 million other coaches, not the how many thousand lecturers. I mean, Shaka and I are both Black female lecturers, which in itself is a rare find, but trust me, there's still a lot of us. So why should someone come to me instead of Shaka, or Shaka instead of me? Okay. What is it? What is the difference in value? For this, there are 3 types of value you need to think about: personal values, financial values, and intrinsic values. Personal values. Does it sit with me as a person? Okay. Now, I've got my new locks in, I've got some gold string in my hair, but when I went to go and buy this gold string, trust me, there were other people wondering, what is she doing with that gold string? They probably thought I was going to sew something. Okay. Because I was going to do many other things. When I saw that product, it matched with my personal values, the things that are important to me, the things that I like to have on my physical body. Okay. Things that I would walk around with and feel confident and proud with. So if your product, even if it hits the point and does the job, does not sit with the personal values of the person, like if you make it too personal to the point where it starts to alienate people, you'll lose them. Okay. So you need to remember to think about and promote how you do fit with their personal values. Intrinsic value. Does your thing that you make, sell, and do, does it do what it says on the tin? Like what you wrote, is that what they're going to get? They need to know that. They need to know the intrinsic values. And to be able to see those intrinsic values, you have to have images, videos, visuals, show reels, testimonials, or whatever it is that you've got to have. Okay. And last one, and the last one is the last one, it's least important, is actually the financial value. Because how many of us have paid some silly number of pounds or dollars for something that we did not need, but it fitted with our personal values and it did what it said it would do? So when that person asked you, why did you buy that? You're like, oh, it looks really nice. I really like it. And it does work. It does. Right. But when you don't fit any of those values, or you don't explain to your customer how you fit those values or how you match those values, they will always leave you for something else. They will always buy another one. How many water bottles do people have in their houses until they find the perfect water bottle, right? They'll always leave. And if you're unfortunate, they'll do more than just go to someone else. They'll return, okay? Return the products. I mean, not come back to shop. We don't want that. So value proposition, very important. Consider those types of values and make sure that they're embedded in the messaging that you have. Then we've got our customer relationships. So what type of relationship do you want to build with the customer? Let them know. Do you want them to sign up to a newsletter? Do you want them to attend an event? Do you want them to buy something? Do you want them to register for coaching? Do you want to talk to them every week, every month? They should get to know, if they give you their email address, what is the level of stalkation that they will experience? Because that is all everyone thinks about. They think, oh, I'm going to give my email address. Maybe I should give the one I don't really check. You know, and I'm sure that's part of the reason why, because we didn't have, in fact, the attendee rate is nearly equal to the open rate of the email that we sent and of the texts. So there's a lot of people who haven't checked their email and probably just forgot they have a session, right? So you've got to think, all right, how am I going to broker relationships with people? How am I going to talk to them? But also, through what channels am I going to do that, right? So with us, you had the website, you had email, and you had a text message. So what channels are you going to use? And then the customer segments, again, very important. Don't be confused, or don't think that this order is a particular order. It's just very important. With customer segment, of course, you need to understand who your target market is, but you actually need to let them know when they've arrived in the place that's for them. You kind of need to roll out the red carpet. So when they arrive, they know this is a space for them. Okay. So if you've got MPA cheek and you know that you're all about female entrepreneurs, female leaders, you know, women with MBAs or aspirational women, when they arrive, they should feel that. They should feel that red carpet rolled out for them. Like, and I do feel that, by the way, on your site. I've been to your site, but they should feel that, right? And they should feel it with the content that you have. And that content will allow them to feel it. Exactly. Right. Customer personas. That's very interesting. I had some customer personas I wanted to show. We'll talk about it in the moment. But it's just all about rolling out that red carpet to say, look, we're here for you. This is what we do. Okay. Right. So then at the bottom, we've got cost structure. That's not important for the customer to know. Okay. But that is important for you to know. And it's very important for you to know how much all these things at the top will cost you to operate, because that should dictate in a very strong part your revenue streams, not the streams you make, because you're going to make those streams based on what the customer needs, but your price points. Okay. And so you will need to be able to create and dictate price points that you can stand by. And those price points, you will only be able to stand by them if you know that they won't leave you broke, right? If you know that they'll allow you to grow. And your customer, like I said, if you communicate with them effectively, they'll pay it. So it's not really something big to worry about in that sense. So what we do is we take the elements of our value proposition canvas and we bring that in to our business model canvas and use that to develop that whole products and services aspect. We use that in our discussion about the channels and the kind of relationships. So for example, thinking of some of the pains that you've already said, what are the right kind of relationships do you think you should build with those customers? So if you've got customers who have no time, what is a good type of relationship for you to build with them? Or any pain, your specific ones, please pop it in the chat for me. In the chat, what is, what did I just ask again? Customer pains that you're aware of. How would you talk to them? Good, succinct messages. Thank you. You guys took so long out of my mind wipe. Texts, exactly, text. That's why I send texts. I send emails because it's professional and people like to receive emails, but actually text. If I could do WhatsApp broadcast and not have people think it was a spam, I would do that. Succinct messages, text messages, quick text, predictable short notes, exactly, right? And that whole predictability can come a lot from the visual outline. So when I see this image, I know it's a testimonial. When I see this image, I know it's a tip for me and things like that. Have an issue with my customers saying they have no pains. Okay, your customers are executives. They're full of pain. They're struggling all day. They just don't want to tell you about it. And so you need to work out on your communication. Yes, because you have to remember, like, a lot of executives have reached the top, right? The C-suite through something referred to as effectual logic. Effectual logic is like they've learned it. They know what they're doing and they're pro, but it's all from experience. And so if a part of their experiential journey included the fact that actually it's not worth telling people that don't understand what's wrong, then they might just have it pre-calculated to do that. And a lot of times when Shaka, I know Shaka and I, when we teach and coach our entrepreneurs, our execs, it's very similar, right? Yeah, I have to coach I literally will have to coach even my execs that are dyslexic and have never bothered to tell anyone, or have to be like, you know, you're dyslexic. No, I'm not. I'm like, but I know you know you're dyslexic because I've seen that you do some like dyslexic coping mechanisms. So who taught you? And then they don't want to talk about it. I'm like, okay, I'm carrying about my business. But eventually, when you break down barriers, they'll always talk to you and they'll always tell you, okay? Visual be very good. Emails would work well for your executive clients. I don't think so. I don't know, and I don't think so. I think emails would work well as a channel because it's probably the only form of contact you have with them. But if they're an executive, they probably have a lot of emails. So I really don't think so. I think you're going to need to think of something else in that, and it's going to have to revolve a lot around what you do. You may have to think about perhaps having a community of some sort and bringing that community together at regular intervals, like 6-month intervals. So every 6 months, you know, there's like a golfing day. That's why people do that for those people, because they're not in their inbox. They're in face-to-face conversations. Yeah. No, I mean, have some digital way to communicate with them, obviously, but you want to bring them together. I bring my execs together very regularly online. So throughout the pandemic, we've been doing lots of sessions, an hour here, 15 minutes there, 20 minutes there, sometimes alone. Sometimes I've organized some little like stress relieving, like just open coffee sessions online. It's been interesting. They get to debate and discuss a lot of the stress that they're having at the moment. And they're losing millions or making millions. And they need to feel like they're talking about that with people that are like that, so they can realize that actually their big problems are normal in their world. Very weird, but so you want to kind of create that normality for them by creating a community, and then perhaps the barriers will come down. Right. Addictions. I wonder what addictions they have. Is that your customers, Sarah? Dialogue possibility. Do you mean online community, RSS feed, blog they could check in on? Exactly, good one. Oh no, the execs. So you're wondering what addictions the execs have. Probably just an addiction to pretending that nothing's wrong. Executives are firefighters. If they hold on and stop to tell you, to realize there's actually a fire, they'd run out just like you did. So they cannot afford to do that. That's why these problems are a big deal for them. So how can you think about how you can build a business around relieving those pains? So then we need to get that all together, and we need to put that information into the website, because the truth of the matter is most people keep that information in their bookshelf. The most important place for that is in the face of your customer, okay? Now, obviously, artistically, creatively, diligently, a little sprinkle here, but that's who it's for. So I'm going to use these images, and I just wanted to just shout out Weeknight website for this. I'm going to use this, when you get these slides, you'll have the link and you'll be able to click to go there. But the pages I'm going to use, you can download from them. In fact, Shaka, do you have the link? I sent it to you yesterday, I think. If you do, you can pop it in the chat for me, please. But yeah, you'll be able to get it anyway when you have the slides. And that's the images I'm going to use. So if you're wondering where I'm getting the wireframe from, it's their website. They're a very good website. Another one I definitely recommend. And what they have here is a homepage cheat sheet. So I'm going to use this homepage cheat sheet to talk with you about how we can start to integrate that information into the website. So let's look at how to put that into action. So you can pretty much see, can't you, at least lines and squares and things like that, right? Just let me know, give me a number 1 if you can pretty much see roughly just the lines and the squares. That's all you need to see anyway. Yeah, okay, good. So this is just like a rough layout of a page. Just think about a nice long page, okay? And what we want to do is we literally want to focus on how do we communicate these things on the right side, which is all the customer pain, gain, how I relieve your pain, how we help you with your job, how we do this, how our products work, how our services work. Oh, Shaka, check that you're replying to all panelists and participants, please. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Right, and that was just someone just brought it up that they can't see anything from you. Right. So, right, we want to get all those pains, gains information to the website, but not on the same page. You're not trying to overload the page, but we want to be thinking all the time when we design a wireframe, when we audit our pages, when we look at our pages, we want to make sure we're at least doing a little bit of this, and we're not just building websites because they look pretty and putting information there because it sounds nice. So we want to make sure that we've got all of the value proposition information in, and we also want to make sure that we've got our business model information there. So here we go. This is a few examples of how it works, okay? So as you can see here, again, you don't need to be able to read what's in the boxes. But as you can see here on this particular page, I've pointed out the fact that we could pop the custom gains at the top, right? So let's say it's something to do with childcare, and it's a nursery. You could pop something like, stress-free childminding while you work. Are you a key worker? Let's help you out. Stress-free childminding while you work. That's amazing. That's a super gain. That's something that's definitely on their mind. Does that make sense? You guys understanding me? Yeah? So tell me what could be a gain that you could put in the top header of your website? What could be a gain you could add? What's a gain you could sell straight away at the top when they arrive? Increase sales. Exactly. 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 Let us work with you to increase your sales. Point out that they have a job. Point out you understand they have a job. Point out you understand that they would like something more when they're doing their job. They'd like people with them, and say, let us, allow us, please. We would love to. Your sales and them being the highest is like all we're obsessed with. I mean, but like not literally, but like let them know that this is what you do straight away. Alert them, wake them up. Save costs, become a world-class coach while building your business. Sustainable, well-fitted clothes. From culture clash to fruitful collaboration. Exactly. Regenerating a holiday home in the middle of nature. Oh my God. Is this a holiday home or regenerating holiday? Oh, regenerating holiday, even better. Even better. So something like, take the opportunity to regenerate in the middle of nature, or, like our lovely regeneration spots or something like that. I really like that. Regain your energy. Let your reflection make you smile. Better confidence presenting at work. Better confidence presenting. That is going to get all the clicks. Get all the clicks. I like this one from Donna Marie, from culture clash to fruitful. I like it too, to fruitful collaboration. Invest in property without the headache of tenants. See, you're getting it already. Good. Right. Then let's say straight under that, after we talk about the job, we could pop some pain relievers under there. Okay. So a couple of lists. So these are, again, small things that you may be interested in, not necessarily your big sales. Okay. So, how we can help power our, like very small things. So regain your energy must have a whole itinerary. So on there, you could break down maybe an itinerary of events that helps people regain their energy. Okay. There you go. Increase your net income year after year. Exactly. All the clicks, Les, all the clicks. I'm clicking now. I'm clicking. Gain creators, a little bit lower. You see, I popped a little bit lower. Gain creators. Show me how you're going to create my gains. Show me how all the things come together to build this superhuman person. Tell me your story. Tell me a story about how Tanisha came to you and she had no website, but she really wanted to increase her net income year after year. And then we did this and this and this, and we took her through these 5 stages of growth, right? And we took her all the way there. Show us that journey. On the other side, I've also popped some arrows as well for the channels. You see how there's like a little square there, that image there is just pointing out it could be a form, it could be a sign-up form, and that's a channel, right? That's one of your communication channels. Might be MailChimp, might be WhatsApp, Instagram, or whatever, okay? And then lower down as well, I've pointed out you could also be popping in some of your revenue streams, so some of the real big ticket products. Okay. Right, let's go for the next one. In fact, Shaka, do you have anything to say on that before? Or does anyone have any questions before? Because I know I've been going for quite a minute. Zora says, would you comment on how we might decide on whether to make gains financial or more meaning and experience-based? No, the gains are what the gains are. You don't really get to dictate that in a strange kind of way. This is why it's so important to get to know your customer, and why it's important to do the value proposition canvas. Really, really good way to do it. Way to do it is if you can also do that with people, with other people who are quite similar to that audience group. If you can do that, then you won't really have much of a, you won't really have much of a problem figuring out what pains are appropriate for them. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? No? Can we jump straight in? All right, guys, don't worry. I'll send you the link for that document in a little bit. So let me know. get you guys thinking that Shaka's going to send something just in case as well. Take you off the hook. Right, so we've got that. So this could be, for example, a service-based business. We can lay it out with a nice header, 3 boxes explaining something, a nice little message box. We can have a nice little story here, maybe 1 testimonial, or 3 testimonials. We could also have another opportunity here for people to communicate with us, right? So in this one, I've put at the top, I've said, why don't we talk about their jobs at the top, right? Or we could talk about our key partners at the top. We could also go here, we could talk about our key activities, what we do every day. So if you think about it with Amazon, we know what Amazon does. We order and they pick, pack and deliver. And the thing is, I'm sure that's not even Amazon saying. I feel like for some reason, I feel like that's Walmart or Tesco. But Amazon has stolen it just by being so clear with what they do. I click once, 1-click order, they do the rest, and it arrives at my house in 24 hours or whatever. Okay, so they let us know what the jobs are. Don't worry, I'll talk about key partners in a moment when I get, thank you for that, Zora. I'll elaborate on that in a moment. Then at the bottom, I've said, look, you can have some testimonials there, right? Those testimonials obviously are evidence of the gain that you've created for your customers. So it fits well with the whole value proposition. And on the other side, I've said, look, you can have some key partners there. You can put a value proposition there. Those 3 boxes could also be a value proposition. Could be like, we do this, this, and this. And why should you come to us? Because you'll get this, this, and that. Okay. And then some channels. Again, on this example, I guess they've used email marketing a lot, but again, you could use whichever channel that you want to use. You could also do things like you could have your services, you could have your products, you could pop your value proposition right there in a different layout. So the whole point with this wireframing and me pointing out these boxes is to show you that of course you're going to have your website design, you're going to have that plan, but there are actually a few other things to think about in terms of why you have that element there. Okay, so if you've got, for example, a sign up to my form here, but you don't intend on maintaining a mailing list, then don't have people sign up to your mailing list. If you're not really interested in doing email marketing, don't use that as a channel just because it looks good on the site, just because other people do it. You'd be surprised how many people use MailChimp just because MailChimp is popular. You know, they just use MailChimp just because it's popular, right? Use the thing that fits the kind of relationship that you want to have with that customer. Again, for an artist or musician site, you know, talking about maybe actually getting straight in with the pain relievers, laying out your product slightly differently, bragging about the gain creators, you know, also bragging maybe about some of your relationships, talking out your revenue streams, right? So I think before I move on to the next bit, I'm going to answer this question. Although here's another example as well they have for a conference event site. And again, I've gone over that and said, despite all this, also maybe you could use some of these spaces for that. So what is meant by key partners? Key partners are the people that we can't really operate without, okay? In most businesses, the best leaders are able to admit that also their staff are in those key partners lists, right? But that's, for example, like you're going to be online. So what's the payment merchant that you're going to be using? Everyone, what's your payment merchants? How many PayPal, Squares, or anything else? What are you using? Does anyone collect payments yet? PayPal, Stripe, Square, bank transfer only, right? There you go. Exactly. Your stakeholders, external and internal. PayPal, iZettle, good. Stripe, right. If they shut down, even though you're not technically an official partner with them, if they shut down, would you be able to stay in business? That's the whole list there, not just your one. Would you be able to stay in business? 2, exactly. You wouldn't. Yeah, you would not be able to stay in business. They are a key partner. They're fundamental to what you do. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't a lot more payment options. Like yesterday, I discovered Amazon Pay as an option. I was thinking of adding it to my website. So there are lots of pay options. Yeah, Shaka. Shaka's like, okay, to-do list. But yeah, no, there's so many options out there. But the point is, if that element, that company, that other thing, if they disappeared, if that would cause you distress, even if it's for a week, they're a key partner. If the ideal scenario is you have that relationship with them, even if they don't even know you exist, right? Like if the ideal scenario is you have that relationship with them, then they're a key partner, okay? For me, if I was to talk about all these payment options, I have Stripe, I have PayPal, and I have Square, but I would list Square as a key partner for me. Mainly because in an ideal world, they are the key partner. I use them first and I use the others as backups, Okay, so that's what key partners are. For those of you that are doing things online, who is your home internet provider? Virgin, oh, they were bad to us the other day, right? Virgin was bad to us the other day. And I Googled it, they said it was down all across London. Right, EE, Virgin, Zen, TalkTalk, BT. Yeah, they're not the greatest people. Sonic, right? Now, if these all went down, how would you run your business? We can't even run our day-to-day lives without internet anymore. Let's pretend that that's not real. But we wouldn't be able to do anything. So they're a key partner. Okay. So key partners are things like your payment merchants, your website domain provider, who owns you, who has your domain, where do you do your hosting, how do you commute? For a long time, I mean, now with the lockdown and quarantine situation, it's not the same. But for a long time, Uber has been a very key partner in my company because I Uber a lot. And I Uber a lot because I'm going from campus to campus, sometimes in time periods that are unrealistic for getting from one to the other. Yeah. So all of these will make up your key partners. But then if you're into healthcare or anything else, if you provide your customers with recommendations of products, of tools, GoDaddy, exactly, GoDaddy would be a key partner. So all of those people, they're your key partners. And you need to think widely about that, right? And in order to really fully understand our key partners, sometimes we can make a list today, but we have to always be looking around and saying, oh, I just printed this thing. My printer is Canon. I can only fix my printer at PC World. PC World's got one people at a time. PC World's a key partner in my business. PC World is a key partner in my business until I have more things to do or until it's like open and free ground, right? So things like, I guess your choice of food, you may not necessarily end up with a key partner in that, but if you have a catering company, then of course, then they would be a key partner, okay? So that's the whole thing to do with key partners. I hope everyone's understood. If you have any more questions, pop them in there. So now, you can do this by yourself. Of course, we recommend it. Shaka and I are advocates for just like rolling up those sleeves, which I don't have any. That's how much I roll up my sleeves. Okay, there are no sleeves to be rolled. You can tell I'm getting comfortable. My silly jokes are coming out. But yeah, no. So we're all up for you doing it yourself. But if you're going to be working with specialists, we have these things that we want to talk about. So Shaka, pop your mic on for your tips. But I'll do the explanations. You can pop in for your tips. Right. So first thing, we need that solid business model, because even if you don't know it's important, your web designer should know it's important. And if they don't know it's important, you kind of need to make them understand it, okay? At least they should understand your business model. Why? Because they're building it. They're building that funnel, as Shaka said, I love. They're building that funnel. They're building the process. So if you don't know, if you are trying to appeal to 35-year-old academics or female academics in their 30s or 40s, if you don't know you want to do that and you're trying to get them to buy drink bottles, of which I'm surrounded by, I have like 15. You're trying to get them to buy multiple drink bottles, right? Well, then you need to tell your web designer that. The web designer needs to know that, because they need to know that they need to build out a site that allows that person to do that thing. And a lot of times we'll have other phrases we use in our world, like user stories and things like that. But in essence, as long as you understand your business model, that should be enough for you to help to communicate it, okay? So only when you feel 100% certain that your business model is clear to you. Now, that does not mean confirmed and finished, just that you're clear on it today, okay? When you understand it's clear, coherent, and persuasive, then you can start to think about how to transfer that onto the website. So Shaka's tip for this is?
So yeah, so obviously you've got your clear business model, assuming that you would have had clear objectives for your website as well. And my tip is that you really need to understand who your target audience is. So when we're defining our audiences, we're looking at segments, and then the idea is that you develop personas. That's another sort of thing to add to the list. But it's really important to identify your segments. So you, as Tanisha said, you may have a 35-year-old parent, or a 35-year-old someone that is single, for example, doesn't have the family. So there are two different segments based on demographics. And the idea is that you build up personas, and it's kind of like their story, their user story, as it were. And then you start aligning your website, your marketing, targeting those personas. And you know, you'd have something on your homepage which is an indication to one of the personas, essentially.
Yeah, it's like rolling out the red carpet for them, let them know that they've arrived at the correct place.
Yeah.
basically. Right, thank you. Why have I lost my screen? I zoomed in on Shaka so I can see what she's saying. And now I've lost my stuff. Hold on. Seriously, I've actually lost my screen. Hold on a second. I've got chat windows everywhere. There we go. All right, 1 second. Everybody, give me a second. Where is my window? Oh, there. Oh, am I still presenting? Is the presentation still on?
No, can't see the presentation.
Yeah, I thought so. It actually disappeared. All right, can you see it? Hold on. Bear with me a second. Shaka, could you answer some questions? Let me just do something. Right, what about landing page? Nope, not there. Sorry, Shaka mentioned. What's the best way to communicate with busy mothers? Best way to communicate with busy mothers is, again, getting them together. Busy mothers really just can't. They just don't have the time because they're with their kids. So the best way to get them engaged is usually just to be right there, helping them with their kids. As long as you can do that for them, you'll be absolutely fine. You'll be absolutely fine, and they will come together. So there's lots of really good community groups for mothers. There's also like WhatsApp groups for parents and mothers. I think there's even apps now for connecting mothers. And that's because they're always going to be busy around their children. Okay, can everyone see the screen? Yeah? Perfect. Serves me right for being like, oh, I'm gonna see Shaka when she's talking. I couldn't see anything else. All right, thank you so much for that, Shaka. Right, so second thing, as we've been talking about, a mock site outline or wireframe, okay? So whether it's by pencil and paper or some other medium, draw up your ideas as to how you envision your ideal website looking. Do not be afraid to take inspiration from popular and successful websites without stepping into dangerous boundaries of plagiarism, but it's fine to get some ideas. And I really recommend this. I really recommend this. It's referred to as benchmarking against best practice, okay? And we should really do that. The reason we have to do that is because our customer, in their mind, they have a pre-programmed picture of what a trusting website for you, for what you sell looks like. Okay, good point, Donna Marie. Yeah, of course, good question. Do I have an example of a good website? But I could never bring along an example of a good enough website, because that would mean that I was not considering the fact that each business has a different target audience. And the point is, you need to be communicating to the person in a language that they understand, right? So any good example of a website is a website you go to, and you go to these this list. Like when you look around websites, have a think of this list that I've popped here about the jobs, key partners, value propositions, and ask yourself, what's in the banner? Oh, that's a customer relationship. They're trying to build a relationship. Oh, that's a channel. They're letting me know about the channels. Ah, they're pain relievers. If you can find those and you can see those and you can see that, not only will it be a sign that you are growing, but it's also a sign of a good website. Yeah, of course, exactly. Yes, Jim, don't be afraid to just ask them. These things are better done with our customers. Right, so what you want to do is, you want to get those wireframe ideas out. But you also want to go ahead. So if you are making a retail website like Amazon, you want to go over and you want to study Amazon. Why? Because people already trust Amazon, okay? Then you want to have a Google about websites, and then you want to think to yourself, okay, what e-commerce websites are scams or like are dodgy? You want to go look at those too. Because what you do not want to do is accidentally design yourself into a dodgy looking situation. And that happens a lot because people think to themselves, oh, I'll just design what I like because it looks nice. But they don't know maybe that in that industry, that doesn't look nice. In fact, in that industry, that looks a bit strange, okay? Now, Elementor, pro tip, Elementor does have lots of free templates that you can work with, and they're super beginner friendly, and they're block by block. I'm not sure what most of you guys are using. I know some of you said Elementor, but they're really good for getting that kind of wireframe idea out. without actually having to do too much, because you could take blocks. So you could take just the header, then just, so you know, like here, let me show you, for example. This page, you wouldn't actually have to design it. You could go into Elementor and pick a block like the top block, and then pick a block like the next block and the next block. They have them already pre-designed, and you can make your own page look how you want. Then you could look at that and say, right, I'm going to make this area be about value proposition, and this area be about pain relievers, and this area promote our revenue streams, and this area, yeah. So let's move on. So number 3, gather all the elements of your ideal website, your assets. You'll need them, okay? Because your web designer will need them. There you go. Jim is helping you there with elements and assets, right? Go to Elementor plus Style Kits plus Envato, or Envato. Amazing. In fact, Envato is actually amazing just for gathering lots of different types of elements. So for example, if you're thinking about designing flyers, leaflets, booklets, brochures, Envato is very, very good for that, okay? So hay fever's making the top of my nose itch. So to gather those elements. So images, video, text, and copy need to be prepared before the web developer arrives. It is not their job to make that for you unless they tell you they do that. It's not their job, okay? They are not a photographer, graphic designer, or copywriter who can fill in the blanks. So make sure to have all the necessary elements pre-prepared and ready to go once the developer has built the bones of the website, okay? Yes, it does work for e-commerce as well, because you'd add WooCommerce to that, and WooCommerce is really growing. They're doing some amazing things in this lockdown. They're trying to become like a serious marketplace, but they're the #1 e-commerce tool for WordPress. Right, so that's that. Next up, we get one of Shaka's tips again for this. So provide lots of direction and support. Web developers, web creators, we love to be, doing the thing that we're doing, but at the end of the day, we don't know how you feel, what you think. And sometimes, and especially in this environment, in this area, holding back with passive aggressive resentment is not going to help your website. If you are going to work with a developer and you have some questions, you have some requests, find the nicest way to say it so you don't break them. But just make sure that they understand you have open, clear communication and positive communication, so that you can then provide them with all the direction and support that they need. Because as with any other human being on earth, we need to know how we're progressing towards a goal and if we're anywhere near it, okay? So if you're in a position to hire a web developer, then you need to be able to direct them without hesitation or second guessing. They are on the clock, and they should charge you for the clock, okay? They're on the clock, and every hour is another lost resource that needs to be minimized by having a clear vision, assertive direction, and being able to provide constant support and guidance. Now, this is really true of a web developer, but actually, if you're then going to be hiring a copywriter to write the words and a graphic designer to design the images, it's true of anyone. It's true of anyone. It's actually true of any staff that you have. And the truth is, even though you look at these people as temporary fixes to your problem, the truth of the matter is they're going to be your first employees. And so if you're going to be any good at being a leader, this is going to be one of those moments where you're going to learn about if you've got those skills. So you need to develop it. So Shaka, your tip?
So adding on to that, so do not be afraid to take charge and be assertive. It's your money. So what you'll find is that developers will just develop what you say. It's different languages, a different way of communicating and understanding things. So I would always go to them with the maximum of what I want. Go with your maximum wish list, and then they will come with a solution of, okay, we can do this, that's going to cost that much, or et cetera, et cetera. Don't go with your small list and then ask for the world, because then your bill is going to be quite high and it's going to be a longer project.
Super long project, super long project. And also it might not even finish, because most of web developers, and I'm going to be very honest, like me, I'm gone. If this is taking too long, I've literally gone. And why? I'm gone because now I'm confused. And now if I'm confused, I'm going to feel slightly like I can't achieve my goal. I'm going to feel a bit inadequate. I'm going to doubt myself. And I'm just going to tell you, I can't do this, right? If you're lucky, the person will tell you they can't do it anymore. And it's not because they can't do what you need, it's because they can't figure out what you need. Okay. But, so that's why you want to be good at communicating. Unfortunate scenarios when web developers just often leave you. But again, that's always about us. We can always control everything with good communication. A good web developer will inevitably suggest important changes that need to be made to your website in order for it to be effective in achieving your business goals. Ensure that you are ready to listen to their feedback, because they will know how it will work, As long as they're not telling you not to do something that you've seen done and it looks reasonable, like if they're saying to you, okay, it can be done, but it's really expensive, I have to call a guy, I can't do it, or whatever. They can tell you all the things, right? As long as they're saying something to you that you can reasonably, like a human being, understand, you should try your best to understand, because they will usually want to show off your website. So they're also invested, despite the fact that you're paying them, they're also invested. And if we've got time, we'll do a little bit of an audit on my site. My site was built by someone I know, and he was so invested in the site. We would end up in proper, not like differences, but like, we're so polite as well. It's the funniest thing. It's like a one sentence, but you know that sentence is loaded with like, don't ask me again, right? But we had to open up that communication. I had to let him win so many times. And now I love my website. But half the things on there was not my idea. But some of it was, as in I knew what I wanted, but he knew how it should be done. So you need to ensure you're ready to listen to their feedback and take on board new suggestions. Web developers are experts in their fields, and you will need to have an open mind if you want them to work efficiently. And again, I'm saying this more importantly because I build websites, I teach web design, I run a web design community, but I also hire a web developer. And even I have to have that open mind and flexibility. Okay, so it's very, 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 very important. And the last one, before we round up and do a recap and Q&A, can you believe it's gone so quick? Don't worry, we've got 5 more points for the recap. So yeah, comprehensive brief. Again, this should come from all the information Shaka and I have told you. Who do you want? Where do you want? Why do you want? How do you want? Etc., etc., etc. You knowing that, then figuring all of that out about your customer, and then creating a brief that is not overly wordy. You don't want to bore your web developer, okay? But you want to create a brief that is clear to understand, and you want to work with them. So arrange to chat with the web designer or developer via Zoom call or a similar medium, so you can both explore the brief together in order to iron out the details and erase any confusion surrounding the project. And because I keep saying developer and designer, we should clarify they are 2 different things, and that's why I say them separately. Okay, if they were the one thing, they wouldn't be 2 words. A web designer can do all the beautification, user experience, like making the user experience more pleasant kind of things. And at times they'll even understand how to develop and how to use WordPress and all those tools, and that's perfect. In fact, I love those kind of people to build my site. A developer is more on the back end, right? So if you're trying to build an app, a social media website, etc., that's why you need a developer, because they need to really code and get in there and build things for you in the background. Okay. You like the font used, Donna? Let me see if I can tell you what the font is. Do you know, this is why I really like live chats. It's called League Spartan. I don't know why. Felt like answering that one at that point. Spartan. There you go. Yeah, it's a really good font, isn't it? Got us bonding over fonts. Right, so we want that comprehensive brief. We want to iron out the details. So we're going to sit together, explore the brief together, iron out the details, and erase any confusion around the project. And that is things like color coding, logos, etc., etc., etc. You can't see the, oh, I sent it to the wrong person. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I didn't select. Oh, I think my thing is jumping around sometimes. There you go, League Spartan. Right, let's move on. Okay, so following this list, you should be in a good position to begin shopping around for the ideal web developer or designer to suit your needs. Should be noted that web developer plays a different role to a designer. So please make sure you hire someone who can build a website that you or anyone on your team can reconfigure at any time without needing code, okay? At any time without needing code. This is why the whole Elementor thing is really attractive and why it's become the #1 WordPress website builder. Not because I keep talking about it, not even me. It's actually because once you use that, your web designer or developer can create a whole bunch, like mine created a whole suite of video tutorials for me, popped it in the dashboard to be like, this is how I did this, this, this. Not because I don't know how, but because it's so easy to do with Elementor anyway, you might as well just do that, okay? So make sure you have a website you can touch and you can configure. When you're hiring that developer, ask them, will I be able to log in myself? Will I be able to make a change myself? Will I be, even when you're moving, like going through the process, say to them, oh, show me how that works in the back end. Make sure they're not coding some code into WordPress, eh? And then you get stuck having to call them every 2 weeks when you want to change a logo or upload a blog post. And I know that's how we make money, but that's technically not how we make money. Okay, we make money by providing a good service, putting you on a retainer, and providing a service to help you maintain. So you've got to make sure you don't get caught in a trap rather than a maintenance plan, because there's two different things. There's a trap and there's a maintenance plan. Right. Before we do the recap, any questions? WordPress could often look samey. No, not really. Yeah, exactly. It's because people use the same themes. Exactly, Jim. There's no reason for a site to look like where exactly if you engage with a skilled designer. Exactly. Can you talk about whether we should have everything in the same place, like courses hosted on our own website, payment on our own website, and so on? Shaka, you can advise on that. If is anyone else typing? Because I'm worried that you might be typing privately if you are. If you're not, that's fine. But if you've got any questions, we've got 20 minutes left. So now we're going to go into this whole recap and Q&A discussion. So Shaka, I mean, I personally think it should all be in one place. That's why you didn't sign up to my event on Eventbrite. You signed up on my website. But Shaka, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think everything should be kept in one place. You don't want to send the user from one to another. Also, security-wise, so if they're on one website and then they've gone to randomly another website to pay, that's going to be a bit difficult. So you need to look as integrated as possible.
Exactly. I've just seen the question, can I give an example of a product selling websites? This is an online store. So you see the top, they've got like a banner showing off the latest thing. Then underneath they've got featured products, and they've got shop for the apparel, shop for home. And then, you know, our store is really cool, like kind of story making thing. And then, you know, another image there. But obviously this is just to show you like roughly what it could look like. You have to make sure that you're not just popping products in there for no reason or popping words in there for no reason. And it sounds like it's hard to do, but it's actually not that hard to do. There's a lot, even my previous website had a lot of things there that didn't even have anything to do with the customer's journey. I just thought they were really nice. But obviously that was years ago. Alas, we learn. Rekik, there you go. Rekik can help you with that. Okay, good stuff. Right, let's move on to recap. Do you want to show? Okay, if anyone wants us to have a look at their websites, pop them in the chat now. I'm going to finish this and then we'll do that if anything, okay? So, oh, how did I get here? Why am I here? It's not what I'm supposed to be. Right, so lesson 1, clarity. Okay, if anything, we hope you got this point of clarity out. What does your website do and why will it benefit me? If you fail to answer these questions within 10 seconds, you fail to bring clarity to your website. Okay, outline your product and service in a clear and easy to understand manner. Avoid jargon and floral prose. Like Shaka said, don't try to sound smart. In fact, don't do that anywhere. People will trust you that you know what you're doing if you speak in just normal English. Short and persuasive description of what your business is offering and how it will improve the lives of potential buyers. Use assertive and concise information. Lesson 2 is all about the customer, all about them. There's nothing else. If you didn't turn up today for them, go home. Focus on why your business will improve the life of the customer, what's in it for them. Will they get peace of mind, comfort, entertainment, time with their family? The core element of advertising is happiness. Okay, totally agree with what Les has just said. Les made a good point. It's not necessarily a bad thing if your website does look like a typical WordPress site, because remember we talked about the fact that people already instinctively know what they're looking for when they look for something, and maybe what the website looks like is what the customer needs to see, and that's why you should go with it. A lot of people criticize those full landing pages that have like text in red and then buy now and it's running out and then more text and then there's really super long landing pages, but you know what? They sell. They really, really sell. So don't worry so much about how things look and try and do more learning about whether or not they convert people into buyers. That's really what you want to care about. And then more importantly, if they convert your type of people into buyers. Right, next on, be conversational, still part of 2. So adopt a conversational tone and don't be afraid to boast. Business is not humble and customers are looking for a confident leader who knows exactly what they're offering and how it can improve their lives. And this is very, very important if you remember the 3 types of value. That personal value thing, if I see myself highly and I respect myself highly and I feel like I like to give myself the best, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to tell me that you are the best. Otherwise, I'm not gonna notice it and I'm gonna go to the next person because they told me that they were the best. Obviously, I'll vet everyone that says they're the best, but the point is, if you're going to be really humble, I'm going to worry about your ability to take me where I want to go. Okay, because I have a journey in life, right? I want to look after my family. I want to feed my kids. You're telling me you're a recruitment consultant, but you're only great on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I want you great every single day. Or, you know, you kind of nearly maybe won an award one time because you turned up. Hey, mate, turn up every day, win the award. And if you've won the award, don't play it down, bring it, okay? What about if you're new at it? You've only just completed the course. Well, then you've completed the course. You've completed the course. Do you know how many people build their website and they start their company and they completed an MBA? I'm one. To be fair, I've been running one for 18 years. But the point is, like, you have to own every step on your journey. Like I said, when I was told to run this type of session for the British Library, I was like, what are you talking about? People know what they want to say on their website. Of course they know. I've been so used to teaching it to my students, I forget that there are entrepreneurs in the world that just need this information too, okay? And just by presenting it and offering it out and communicating, look at this, okay? Look at this. So you can open your mouths and you can say whatever it is you want to say, as long as it's true and it's going to make people feel confident and comfortable. And it works with your business model. So go for that one. Let's see, next. As consumers, we're essentially looking to solve a problem in our life that is hindering our path to happiness. I cannot be happy if I'm hungry. So I proceed to order pizza. The pizza is not just sustenance, but a delicious symphony of flavors that left me satisfied for hours, just like the website claimed. Look at them. Got them claiming and owning, okay? Lesson 4, building trust. Be brave and make guarantees that you can stand by, okay? A broken promise destroys trust, but a company who stays true to their word is one that will see repeated business. And when we say things you'll stand by, a good thing to just do is just not make any promise. That's an option. You don't have to go around making promises, okay? You can just state facts, right? It's easier that way. If you're in a position to deliver exactly what the customer needs and in a timely manner, then ensure that your reliability is clearly communicated on the website. We will deliver this in 24 hours, 48 hours, 5 weeks, 10 years. Whatever you say, I'll believe you. But if you fail at that, I will judge you and I will probably not come back to you and I will complain. So let the customer know how and when their product will be fixed, right? Build that trust and maintain the trust. We all worry that our problem will not be fixed, and making a purchase can sometimes feel like a leap of faith. So back up your guarantee with testimonials from previous and existing clients, giving your buyers some peace of mind and making them feel as comfortable as is sales 101. Exactly, under promise and over deliver. Yes, facts are better than promises. You can lose, exactly. Yes, you can lose a customer for life. Exactly, Nufi. Only essential information, lesson 5. Yeah, so what? Only essential information needs to be included on your website. So that's what we talked about earlier. Just don't put it there just because it looks nice. And actually, if you want to have an area of things that you're not sure about, make a page for that. So when I first started turning my personal website into more of a professional environment, I made the notebook. The notebook has now become more professional along the way. It's become a blog, but at that point, I just used to post very short snippets of text. Like if I felt like I just wanted to say something that was a paragraph long, that was the size of the blog. Paragraph to paragraph. If I wanted 10,000 word shaka, it all went in the notepad. Yeah. So you can have that, but you need to have it in a separate space. So when I get there, I know that these are just things that come out of your head. And you're sharing this with me because you want to share a personal part of yourself with me. Not because it's going to help me get my daughter to nursery faster. I don't have a daughter, but you know, if I did. Your product will speak for itself. If you clearly and concisely, can you see my thing? Yeah, you can. Yeah, if you clearly and concisely explain and outline the problem it's fixing and why it's a better choice than anything your competitors offer. Okay, now that's one way to do it. The other way to do it though is if you have allies in the environment, like you have other companies that you work with, for example, WordPress, Elemental, British Library, and all the other universities that we work with, Sky, I can say their name so confidently because I know that that relationship is there. So I can also let you know that actually my product is on par with those people, right? So you don't always have to compete. You could choose to compete, or you can choose to benchmark and position yourself in the mind of your customer at the level of those other brands. Okay. And lesson 6, the last one. All right. Once your customer is sold on the idea, call them to action. You got me here. I've been here for 10 minutes. What do you want me to do now? The website's lovely. I've read like 1 million blog posts. I saw all your lovely pictures. I saw this, I saw that, but I don't really get it. What do I do now? Do I have to do something? Okay, call them to action. On every single page of your website, include information showing how your visitor can make a purchase or request more information. Don't be overwhelming or obtrusive with your call to action. Just make sure you just say it, but don't come across desperate. Okay, we're not desperate. We're saying, click here to register. Not please register, and not big flash things, or what is that one, Jim? The new one? No big Lottie animations to do that. So Shaka, do you want to do the checklist?
Okay, so we've got the checklist. So you need to know exactly what your product is and why it's worth buying. Need to be clear right from the get-go. So that's your value proposition of your products. Your website needs to be easy to navigate and accessible to everyone. So when they land on your website, don't make them think and be like, what do I need to do next? It needs to be very clear and obvious what it is that you sell and do and what you want them to do next. And also thinking about colors and fonts, and so making accessibility as well in terms of site, audio, etc. So there's other ways you can make your website accessible. Yeah, it's all about the language and persuasive. Let's not get the whole thesaurus out to explain our business model. Keep it simple, keep it straight, use the language that your audience would use and kind of like what you would use when talking a normal day, because that's your customer. And there's also, that's how they would search for your product as well. So that also links to SEO as well, if you're using the right words. So customer happiness is the main focus on the website outline, how your business can solve your problem. So yeah, so the website should provide that clear answers, you know, when they come to your website, oh, I'm here, I'm at the right place. And whether that's either a visual or it's the text or the word, and even the trust signals. I've just looked at a couple of websites and we don't seem to have our security HTTPS signals as yet. So if you're selling online, you need to make sure that your site is secure. And so people are going to want to buy from there and feel comfortable exchanging their details. Oh yeah, again, I've gone into trust signals again. And even so, what Tanisha was saying earlier, you know, if you've got that award, was it Zora, you were saying you got something in 2007, put it on, because it just shows that you've got that in 2007 and you improved your game and you're still working on it. So any accolades, anything, you know, successes that you've had, because it's all the work that you've done to get to this point. So, you know, show your best, put your best foot forward, show what you've got. And then call to actions are very important. And yeah, don't go over the shouty. And I also hate when they go only 10 pieces left. I hate that. That's annoying. You know, when there's 100 left. So, you know, I would say, you know, make it interesting. I would align it to my tone of voice, so it shows that I'm guiding the customer towards something rather than shouting at them, buy now, buy now. And, you know, so it's not obtrusive or pressurizing.
Sorry, I was doing the mute. And then I was like, I just realized I was talking. So that's pretty much it. I mean, look, that is all, folks. So we've done the recap. So I just wanted to let you know, and this is going to come to you in an email, but if anyone wants their website audited and wants a power hour, we're literally only doing it for the next 24 hours. And that's actually because we're actually a little bit busy. So if you do take this up, don't be surprised if you end up having an appointment towards the middle to end of July. Not all of you, but some of you, because we do obviously run our businesses and then teach, but we're willing to do that for people who want that. So that's offering you, we're going to do a website audit and we'll do a power hour with you. So sit with you for an hour to talk that through with you, and we'll both do it. I'm sure I'll drag Shaka in. You see, there you go. You get 2 for 1. And right, so aside from that though, if you wanted to head over to the site, we obviously have the business planner for those of you who said that you had business models or business plans to create. And for those of you who want things done for your site, let's say when you're creating your assets, maybe you need graphics done, copywriting done and things like that. for about an hour, get that brief done. They'll work for you for the time and get everything done for you, and then they'll come back to you. But in professional world, ranges to about an hour. Maybe that's for something simple like a logo, but not just a logo, obviously in all the versions with all the sizing and the different grade, whatever you need, all of that stuff, the full logo branding pack and things like that. Or maybe it'll be writing up an article and things like that. So PR stuff. So we also have that. And then we provide coaching, executive coaching, starts from 150, and then with the office hours, a whole bunch of them coming in, 10 hours of work done for you by our staff, it's also 750. But these are all things you can look at on the site. So that's that. We have 8 minutes left. Talk about time management. We have 8 minutes left. I really want to put up another poll. So I'm going to try and put up another poll. In the meantime, in the last 8 minutes, does anyone have anything they want to say? In fact, actually, could you please all paste your social media, your websites, and all of that stuff, so we can follow and we can show. Yes. So that's not me. We have a whole team. There's literally, I don't know how many of us there is now, but in the core team, there's 16 of us. And then there's just way more people. Perfect. So pop your website in there, pop your link in there. I'm thinking of, I'm going to be probably popping your websites in there if you wouldn't mind. So we'll send out in the follow-up, we'll ask you about if you want us to promote your website to everyone else. And then we'll do that. And so everyone else can see your products, and at least we can cross-pollinate and get those first sales in, get the user testing in, get the communication going. Okay. Lots of stuff coming in. MBA chick. Yes. Cool. We've got loads here. All right. Let me make
answer Dina's question. She was asking about terms and conditions on the websites.
What was the question?
In terms of what terms and conditions can she put on the website? So,
well, first of all, you have to put the terms and conditions that will affect the delivery, like the buyer process. Hold on, 1 second. Let me just put this poll.
Lots of things are coming in.
Yeah, there's so much coming in. That's good though. You need to cover everything. So like rules around navigating on your site, making it very clear whether or not you whether or not you want people to, you are giving people the permission to reuse information from your site. If you're selling, then information around how people buy, how people pay, how they'll receive things, how they should behave. Terms and conditions for your website has to be about your website. You have to shop around. You have to shop around. When I did mine, who did I end up liking? I can't remember, but I shopped around and I ended up liking this one company. I can't remember what the lady's called, but she just spoke in English. And so you'll find when you read my terms and conditions, they're just English. There's no jargon. Okay. So the style of writing is not predefined, but the most important thing is that people want to know how and what they should be doing with your website, how to stick within the rules to make sure they don't break the rules.
Okay.
So I'm doing a new poll. Just to find out how you found the session. Right, there we go. Save. Did you enjoy the session? Right. Let me look at my polls. How do I go back again? Oh yeah, here we are. Launch poll. Do you like my poll? Right, let's get on with this chat thing. Very, very welcome. Wow, this is amazing. Look at all the people that shared. Oh my God, this is really great. Okay, we're gonna have to definitely get something together and like make sure everyone knows of each other. Make sustainable bespoke clothing, sustainable home products on Instagram. Nice. All right. Culture code. I like that. Oh, that makes sense, Donna Marie. That's a good name. Yeah. MB Global. Like that. Top Fill Consultancy. West Africa Phones. Loving it. Property. Building a social network exclusively for business owners and entrepreneurs. That sounds great. Great, great, great stuff. Oh, that's actually just reminded me. Customer personas. Before we go, I'm going to try and find one. I want to just show you very quickly what a customer persona looks like. Shaka, keep checking, but I think everyone's pretty much fine. So I think we'll be okay for me to just show this and then wrap up. I'm so glad you guys seem to have been enjoying yourself. I really enjoyed myself. Don't know if you could tell. Let's see. NB Global. Let's look at that, actually. Yeah, let's look at that. Let's look at that. All right. I'm going to show you something. Can you see this on the screen now? You can see new slide deck on there. So can everyone see this? So this is actually done by one of my clients who's in our chat now. And this is a customer persona for someone called John. Can you see the top, or is it cropped off? Does it look okay to everyone? Just pop me and let me know if it looks okay. I'll talk you through it just in case you haven't heard of a customer persona before, because we said it so many times. Yes, all of you can send your website page today. So you can always reply to anything I send you. It does come to my inbox. I actually do reply. Right, so John, age 28, graphic designer based in London, 5 years experience of working as a graphic designer, has been working with friends and family, doesn't know how to start a company. His pain, he's looking to start a business but unsure about how to start. He wants, how can I make a market to new customers? How can I get help and assistance to starting my business? Is there a business toolkit that could help me, right? And then you've got here, the brand affinities that he has. Who's he affiliated with? What brands does he like? John likes Uber, Adobe, LinkedIn, Instagram, Apple, WordPress. Calls to action that could work for John. How can I help? Join now, connect now, okay? Top goals. I mean, we could probably do a little bit more to do with him wanting to start a company. So start your company today and things like that. Top goals, wants to start his own graphic design business and learn how to properly run it. There are many ways to effectively market to clients, and I want to learn how to get new clients. I want to connect with other entrepreneurs and learn, one, how their journey is going, and two, how we can help. And then this little tag here for £520 per year is the cost for membership for John on my client's company's website. And these products and services here just so happens that because this client works with entrepreneurs, some of my products and services are upsells that they have for their memberships and referrals. But you see how they've added that there. So it becomes quite easy to kind of start to picture John and think with John. And John becomes, you know, a friend in your head, right? And you start to think, well, would John like this website? Would John click that button? Do you know what I mean? What would John do? I don't really know him. Then we've got Sasha. Sasha is also going to the same website, right? It's funny, Sasha Shaka. It's not based on Shaka, but she's also a lecturer. I think she's a coach. Yeah, she's a coach actually. Right, so she's got different things. She wants to know how to attract more customers, how to find a space that will appeal to entrepreneurs, and is there a way she could advertise her sales to her target market? She has similar affinities to John, which is good because our website look, we can't have people who have different brand and style affinities, right? Because she likes something totally different to what John likes. We're never going to make a site for the two of them. So it is a little bit important that they're quite similar. And again, we could think about other things. What products and services would be good for her? Well, maybe think like an entrepreneur would be good for her. Future executive seminar would be good for her, right? And she's on the higher package. You see, she's on 999, okay? So this is what we meant by customer personas, if you've wondered. And this one is the belonging. This one belongs to Nufi. Clap for yourself, Nufi. And that's it. We've literally covered everything, even added a little piece of extra information. Thank you so much. It looks like most of you have enjoyed the session. I'm really happy about that. Thank you so much. Clap for yourself, Nufi. Clap, clap. Very welcome. Right, so. Oh, really? That's good. That's good. That's good. There you go. You're very welcome, everyone. So we will pop into, you're very welcome. We'll pop into your inboxes. We'll drop you an email. Shaka actually presses the button on the emails and then I reply. So we will pop you an email about this. We decided to do this one together. We're going to hopefully do more together, Shaka. Must have been abstract, both you and Shaka, godsend. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Right. So yeah, thank you so much. We'll be in your inbox and we'll send you an email. We won't send you any more text, so don't worry about that.